Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.
Hello, and welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds. Thought I'd do something a little bit different and touch on some of the transfer rumours. So, first up, reported by multiple sources, Team Talk, it's been in the YEP, Sean Longstaff from Newcastle United. I've seen a lot of people throw shade on Sean Longstaff. And I don't know why. He's a decent Premier League centre midfielder, 27-year-old, great age, coming into his prime, market value 20 million. I've seen we can potentially get him done for 12. If it's 12 million, I would bite their hand off. I really would. Like I say, he's a decent player playing in a very good side. Unfortunately for him, he's got Joe Linton, he's got Guimaraes, he's got Tenali, and he's probably fourth choice in that three, and rightly so. But he's played 25 matches this season for Newcastle in the Prem, 786 minutes or so, a lot of sub appearances, not many full 90 minutes, not many starts in there, but definitely a few starts. But yeah, a lot of appearances off the bench for Newcastle. But like I say, look at the calibre of player he's playing with. It's a very difficult side for him to break into. For Leeds United, I think as a newly promoted side, I think we've got to temper expectations of what calibre of player we can bring in every single position. What I will say is that the players we are linked with are good calibre Premier League level players. You know, we're not a side going up who's looking at bolstering a squad with championship players, you know, top end championship players. Because for me, we had the best players in the championship, so the rest of them aren't good enough for me. We are we've got the best of the best from that division. For me, yeah, there's some good players down there, but we look to be going for the right calibre of player for me. All the names that are coming out are either decent, young, exciting players from Europe or some experienced, decent, sensible players who we know can cut it in the Premier League. And Sean Longstaff's one of them. Like I said, he's been in Newcastle a fair few years now. Very capable midfielder in the Premier League, and one that I think, if the money is right, I think it's a no-brainer. He's entering the last year of his contract to Newcastle. They're going to qualify for Champions League again. They could still finish as high as second. They will. I would assume they'll be looking at improving that spot again and making more competition for places where maybe Longstaff becomes surplus to requirements. Eddie Howe did say in a recent interview that he'd be happy for Longstaff to stay, still part of their plans, but it's in Sean's hands now. It's up to him. He's got a year left on the deal at Newcastle. Will they offer him a new one? Maybe not. Is it a good time for them to cash in? And is it a great time for Leeds to get in there and get it done at a decent cut price deal with more than 12 months left? I think it potentially is, and in my opinion, I think this could be one of the first transfer dealings we get done. I just think it makes sense. It just makes sense. It's been linked a few times. In fact, it's in the YEP now. Shows it has some legs for me. I'm expecting, in my opinion, this to be one of the first ones we get done. And you could say it free. You know, I don't think we sign Rothwell again. I think this could be one out, one in. Are we going to sell Gruev? I don't know. But for me, Longstaff is a better player than Gruev. He's a better player he's a different player than Rothwell. But I think he's a level up on them. He'd probably want to start Leeds United, but you could offer him that. You know, I would say Tanaka's a starter. I also think Ampadu starts in the Prem as his captain. A lot of fans would disagree with that. Longstaff, you throw him in mix. Can you play with three in midfield? Do you look at it and go, he's competition, he's going to be on bench, he's fighting for a place? I don't know, but I think Longstaff would look at that midfield and fancy his chances of getting in it. So I think he'd be a very good player, whether he ends up being a squad player, a bench player, or a starter. Longstaff for Leeds United would be a no-brainer for me. And then moving on then to Coufal from West Ham United, 32-year-old Czech Republic international. This is a really steady signing for me. It's not an exciting one, but not every signing can be exciting. A bit like the Longstaff one, it's not going to excite a lot of fans, but Coufal is a very capable right back. He's been at West Ham since 2020, signed for 5 million, I think, from Slavia Prague. He's played over 200 games for West Ham, or close to 200 games. So I think it's 177, I think, so close to 200 games for West Ham. It's 50 odd caps for Czech Republic, free transfer. You know, West Ham, I'm quite happy they've done it. They've let a lot of experience go. Fabianski, Ings, Cresswell, and Coufal. A lot of experienced heads go in there, and West Ham are probably a side where, we're probably looking at dragging down towards the bottom end of the Premier League, because ultimately for us to stay up, we've got to be better than the two that come up with us, and at least one more side who's currently in the Premier League and have occupied Premier League for the last couple of seasons. So them losing so many key experienced heads is only going to benefit Leeds. But can we swoop in there and bring Coufal in? The main competition looks like it's going to come from Everton, which is a bit of a problem because he knows David Moyes well from the time at West Ham. But so far, when you look at him as a profile of a player, he's really, really solid at the back, defensively sound. It reminds me a little bit of Berardi, that no-nonsense sort of right back. Can he get forward? Yes, but obviously he's 32. Don't mean he's past it, but he won't have the legs to get up and down like Bogle can, but different profile. And that's what we need. I quite like the idea of having two fullbacks who are attacking and two fullbacks who are a little bit more defensive, depending on the opposition. You can rotate. If Bogle's off it, getting found out of the back, which we're being told he may struggle in the Premier, we'll have to see. I think he'll be a success, but we'll have to see. Coufal would be perfect at that. I think, when you look at how many games he's played for West Ham, how many caps he's got for Czech Republic, it shows he's a steady player in there. And can we get him over the line whenever we're interested? We're going to have to get someone over the line, and they're interested in all the players that we're linked with. So, yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. There's quite a few free transfers out there who we should be looking at, and Coufal's definitely one of them. Like I say, not every player can be a starting player. Not every player can be that glitz and glam signing. We need a squad, and 32-year-old, all that experience. He's played in Europe for West Ham. He's won a trophy in Europe. They've battled relegation. They've survived. He's got all the characteristics you want from an older head in the dressing room, where it is quite a young dressing room. We lost a lot of leaders ourselves over the last couple of seasons, and for me, it could be imperative. Who's to say we keep Gilavogi? There's nothing saying we'll keep. I would, in my opinion, would suggest we're probably not going to keep Gilavogi. In retrospect of what people think, if we don't keep him, that's another massive character gone, another experienced head gone. Coufal could be vital to that. So I think if it's a free signing, like the saying is, they've released him. So I would definitely be looking at getting Coufal. I mean, when you look at moving on, and when you're looking at all the caliber of players we are linked with, you've got Coufal, you've got Solomon, obviously to come back. Hopefully, he's one of those first signings. Kelleher, a goalkeeper we've been heavily linked with for a long time now, and James McAtee. These are players who are exciting. They're exciting. You've got a couple of players in there who you need, experienced players, and then when you're getting onto the Kellehers, your James McAtee, your Kilisoy from Besiktas. These are exciting young talents with high ceilings. Kilisoy, Besiktas, broke through at 17. He's now 19. Played 70 odd games, I think it is, for Besiktas. Plenty of games under his belt for such a young lad. Got a cap. He's been capped at national level for Turkey. Can play on the wing, can play up front. Very, very exciting talent. We're linked with him. Obviously, James McAtee as well in that number 10 position. Massive ceiling. Pep loves him. And obviously, Kelleher at Liverpool, their number 2 goalie, who would, wherever he goes, will be an outstanding number 1, whatever club is lucky enough to sign him. Obviously, when it comes to these players, the valuation is going to be key. McAtee, 25 million. I think that's a little bit high. Not for him, but I think for Leeds United, I'm not saying it's too high for him. I'd probably say it'd be good value for 25 million. Is 25 million too much for Leeds United to gamble on? They may not think it is. I think if it were a little bit lower, I'd say it's probably a dead cert we get him, if I'm honest, because I think he'll fancy Leeds. I think we've been rumoured to be looking at him for the last couple of seasons now and just missed out. I think if it were 20 million, I reckon it's doable. I think 25, is it a bit too much? Maybe. I hope we can get that over the line. Though I'd love James McAtee in at 10. I really would. That'd be a right statement of intent. That he's played in Premier League for City. He's had some decent loan spells out where even when he was at Sheffield United, he still looked a decent player there, even though they were struggling. So yeah, he's one I really hope we get over the line. Kelleher, moving on to him, 40 million quid. We ain't signing a goalkeeper at 40 million quid. I don't think we're making a signing at 40 million quid. So that's a shame if we get priced out of that one, because for me, he comes in and he's a difference maker. Not only does he not cost you points, he wins you points. And when every point's vital, which every team will say every point's vital. But when you're in a newly promoted side up to Premier League, like every point is so vital. And having Kelleher there, Irish international, I think we'll go on to huge things in game. He's a bit unlucky where he is really in terms of who's behind Alisson at Liverpool, because I think he's good enough to be Liverpool's number one. So, I think he's good enough to be a Premier League winner's number one. I think he's that talented. So yeah, I think we'll get priced out of that one. I don't see us getting a goalkeeper at 40 million. Would I have him? 100%, I'd have him. And Killer Soya over at Besiktas as well. He's a really exciting talent. I've looked at his clips on YouTube, which don't mean jack sometimes, but I've had a quick look today. He looks really, really good, really exciting, really quick, really skillful, decent finish on him. So yeah, I would just say when you look at Leeds United's transfer rumours and links, take them over a pinch of salt. We don't know what's going to happen. We may not sign any of these players that are linked. I would hang my hat on we get Longstaff. He's the one I think is highly likely to get. That's just in my opinion. But yeah, looking around, there's some links there that may not come off, but we're looking in the right ballpark for me. We're looking at some decent players in McAtee and Kelleher who we know have high ceilings and can play well at a Premier level because we've seen it, and then at massive clubs with massive pressures on them at such a young age to deliver when they come into that first team, and they're doing it. And then you've got some really good, older heads in Coufal, and obviously Longstaff. 27 is coming into his prime, not really old head, but an experienced head. Some really sensible signings there, alongside some really exciting signings potentially. So we're swimming in the right waters, we're fishing in the right waters. Yeah, so we'll have to see how this goes. I hope you like this video. My opinion on a few of the links. I think a few of these are credible. Some of them may not be, but we shall see how we go and watch this space. Take care, everyone. Have a good day.